Hi folks, welcome to another video in the series of Before You Buy Vapor Chief videos. We want to talk about 120 versus 240 voltage and how that tremendously makes a difference in the type of steamer that you're buying. Now, we're starting this video with this machine backwards because we want to show you the plug. We're in North America. This is 120 voltage. Now, we can build a machine in 240 volt fairly easily. What that does is with 120 voltage, without getting into a whole discussion about electric and wattage and amperage, there's only so many watts and how powerful we can make a heating element when we're working with 120 volts. Now, 120 volts, we're plugging it into an outlet like this, which is what everybody has in their shop, what everybody has in their home. That's what 99% of the people want. So we have to build it to a certain standard to make sure that it's safe. We can't overpower the heater, or there's a fire risk and there would be blown circuit breakers all over the place. So we can only put a certain amount of wattage in the heater. And to do that, that's why we think we've made one of the best 120 volt machines out there, because of the type of heater that we're using, the type of the boiler, how the machine heats up. There's a lot of engineering factors that go into that to make the 120 volt machine the best it possibly can be. But again, as we discussed in another video, pros and cons, there's pros and cons to 120 volts versus 240 volts. Now, if we went to a 240 voltage machine, we could probably double the heating element wattage, which would not so much as increase the pressure on the machine, because there's certain components that need to be built into the machine to handle certain pressure. But what a 240 voltage machine would give you, it would give you a very, very quick heat up time. It would give you a pressure hold of almost full value, where you wouldn't see a big pressure drop. 240 volt heater with a much higher wattage can make steam and make the machine recover extremely quickly. So at 240 volts, you're getting a better machine. You're getting a more efficient machine. Now, again, we know that in most shops out there, if you wanted a 240 volt outlet such as this, you got to bring your electrician in and wire it, and then the machine can only be used here. In most people's shops, there's 120 volt outlets all over the place. In your home, there's 120 volt outlets in your home. It's difficult to get a 240 volt setup, whether it's in your home or your garage or your shop. We just don't see it as much. Now, we do have requests for 240 volt machines, and we can get them built. It is a special order. They're slightly more expensive, but we specialize in 120 volt. It's easier to stock the 120 volt components because there are certain things that are 120 volt specific. There's certain components that are 240 volt specific. So we don't push 240 volts as much as some of the competitors do. Now, we know that you're going to get a better machine at 240 volt, but we've worked long and hard at making our 120 volt machines as good as possible. So if you've thought about 240 and you think you might need 240 and you can make it work, well, give us a call. We can bring one of those in. But if you know that 120 volt is the machine that you have to have because 240 is just too much of a pain, then let's talk about the 120 volt machines and how good ours are, and look at the specs and look at how we've engineered them. And we hope if you decide on a 120 volt machine that you're going to buy one of ours. And again, if you have any questions on voltage or wattage, give us a call and we can explain that.